Hey you, perfect soul. Equal rights have probably been an ongoing issue since the ancient times when patriarchy destroyed temples, artefacts and memories of goddesses and forced upon us the ludicrous idea that universe, life and all matter consists of a balance of two energies, whilst the one source only were made. That was a couple of thousand of years ago. Around 100 years ago, a women's movement started in mostly Western world for women's right to vote. Recent studies concerning equal rights have estimated it to take at least 100, but maybe even 150 years to achieve global gender parity. One reason this movement is unbelievable slow moving is the current gender parity in politics and leadership. This situation persists even though scientific findings clearly show that the behaviour, society, socio-culturally and neurobiologically connects to female behaviour is far more successful in our transformational times of today. Research also shows that our world seems to have reached a point where female leaders and role models, many beyond 50, make stronger impacts on their fellow human beings with their natural power of presence and resonance instead of domination and control. The power of elder feminine wisdom that completes instead of competes is simply the way for our new awakened world. Hey you, perfect soul. I am Sophia, author in self-help spirituality and fantasy action with a PhD in sociology. Even though the research clearly show that the winning concept for successful leadership of today is to be compassionate, sustainable and collaborative. Traits that are defined as typical feminine leadership traits, but obviously can be developed by men. It is an understanding of feeling deeply so you can see clearly. It is a power of presence and resonance that combine emotion with reason and empathy with strategy. So let's integrate and transform. Let's Ubuntu, Namaste, Aloha, Tao, Fried, Salam and Shalom in peace, harmony and love. Women are overrepresented among the poor, the informally employed, and those with low education. The global gender gap is approximately 68.8% closed. Globally, in the year 2025, women earn about 83 cents on the dollar. Level of income affects everything. Your living situation, your safety, your health, your resources. Even if women live longer, they usually spend more years in poor health. No country has reached full parity, even though Iceland continues to lead the world, having closed even 90% of its gender gap. Asia and Africa show heterogeneous trajectories shaped by law, conflict, climate and policy choices. Some countries match or outperform Western norms in specific indicators like women in parliament and educational parity. but sub-Saharan Africa and parts of South Asia still carry the majority of global female poverty and illiteracy. 1 in every 10 women in the world lives in extreme poverty. Globally, according to World Bank, 9% of women and girls live in extreme poverty, which is around 400 million people, most residing in sub-Saharan Africa. 60% of chronically hungry people globally are women and girls. The problem is also severe in the Western world for the ones that don't have enough. More than 1 in 10 women aged 18 and older lived in poverty in 2024 in the US, with 2 in 10 women for Black women, Latinas and Native women. That is around 15 million women in the US alone. Research across 100 plus countries shows that female leaders in general allocate more resources to health and education and pass stricter laws on child marriage and relationship violence. More often than not, they themselves come from sectors like schools, clinics and community work, which make them sensitive to the lived reality of vulnerable groups. It is a matter of experience. Female political leaders therefore tend to prioritize education, health, family stability, and protection of vulnerable groups. They also tend to prioritize paid parental leave, public childcare, and gender-sensitive labor laws, which are crucial for women's economic activity. The female leadership also focus on collaboration rather than dominance, and they work to create long-term collective solutions, not just short-term political wins. Women heads of states or governments consists 2025 of 25 countries out of 195 or 197. Women's representation in parliament and ministerial positions is around 25%, despite a push for gender quotas in several Western countries. But as we have seen, global equal parity depends on equal political empowerment. So here's what you can do. Vote for Granny next election. Involve yourself in politics and be a role model for girls growing up. Support a political candidate you consider to be authentic and grounded in both energies. Aim to be a leader at your work or support your authentic friend to become one. Be an active and loving change maker, and above all, be your perfect balance of our two sacred energies. Love is contagious, so love like crazy. Blessed day.